Okay, and for our last video to cover the last two sections of the study guide, we're going to talk about the immune system components that we can see on Hugh. Now, we don't have a formal immune system model that's separate from Hugh, simply because a lot of the structures are also part of the lymphatic system or some other organ system. So we're going to look at a few features that we can see on Hugh. Okay, most of them are going to be down here in the thigh. There's a little cutaway section here. And you'll notice actually on your study guide, number 41 says thymus. In fact, you can't see the thymus on Hugh. The thymus would sit right down in here, but you can't see it on this model. So that's one less thing you need to study for this particular exam. However, the thymus is very important because the thymus is where T cells are generated, or rather they mature, and bone marrow is where the B cells mature. Now, bone marrow is also not shown anywhere on Hugh, but that would be inside the spongy bone areas of various bones. So in long bones, that would be at the epiphyses. Okay, so we'll start off with looking at the spleen. So if we take off the lungs and the heart here, and we're going to look at some deeper structures down below the digestive tract. Okay, so here is the spleen, not to be confused with the kidney that's on either side. The spleen is right here. Okay, to see the appendix, it's going to be on the back side of the large intestine. The large intestine is the gray here. So let's pop this out and look at the back. And you can see the appendix is this nice little squiggle shape. Okay, remember the appendix is not a totally useless organ. It does have some immune function. You do not have to know the Peyer's patches simply because they're not really shown on these diagrams, but that would be in the small intestine. And then the tonsils you also don't need to know because we can't see it on this model, but those would all be parts of the MALT, the mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue. And then finally we have the lymph node and the lymphatic vessels. Okay, and we can see those here. So this would be a vein and an artery going into a local tissue. And this would be the lymphatics that would be flowing back towards the heart. So the lymphatic vessels are these little tubes. The lymph nodes would be the white areas, these kind of little bean-shaped spaces. And then for the last section on the study guide, we simply need to know the different cells and to be able to identify are they part of the innate or the adaptive immune system. So remember, the innate immune system would be generalized features that don't recognize specific structures or specific antigens, but may help as antigen-presenting cells to help the adaptive immune system. So the innate immune system would include macrophages, dendritic cells, neutrophils, and natural killer cells, while the adaptive immune system, which only recognizes specific antigens, would be the T lymphocytes or T cells and the B lymphocytes or B cells.